Well, welcome to Super Vac. Today we're going to take you on a behind-the-scenes tour of how we build fans. Super Vac got our name from this blade that my great-grandfather came up with. If you look at it closely, he cut this out of wood, glued it together, and then smoothed it out so he could use this as a pattern in aluminum. He got this recurved tip that kind of acts like the vertical canard on the end of an airplane wing to separate the pressure side from the vacuum side. This is the fan blade he came up with, and since we can pull a vacuum across the entire surface, he called the company Super Vacuum. So this is our foundry. It's a full non-ferrous foundry, brass, bronze, and aluminum, where we cast a lot of the components that go into our fans, including the blades, the motor caps for the battery fans, etc. So this is where we balance the blades. A blade will come out of the foundry in a shape like this. Darren here will machine this, put the center hole in, balance it on this dynamic balancer, and then grind it so it's got a nice smooth surface to move the maximum amount of air. This is the offshoot of that blade that my grandfather invented all those years ago. Anything that starts as a flat sheet for our fan division comes through our Trumpf laser for one of its first steps. The parts are engineered in engineering, sent here, cut. This thing can cut 24 hours a day, unattended, lights out, and those parts then go into our time saver to be smoothed out. Next we'll come over here and I'll show you how they're bent. So this is our brand new Safan press brake. Dale here, expert operator, is bending one of the parts for the 16-inch battery fan. Dale, you want to show them how it works?
Absolutely.
Dale, what's the advantage of this machine over a hydraulic press?
It's quieter, it's faster, it's more adjustable.
So you can get the parts more accurate, so we've got better control over the repeatability?
Right, yeah.
How long have you had this machine?
About a month or so. We've been using it for about a month or so.
Well, looks like you know what you're doing.
We're getting there. We're learning.
Great, thank you. So after the parts leave the press brake here, we're gonna go over and we're gonna weld them together. Before we weld that piece, let's stop here and watch what Pepper's doing with the tube bender, because this is a big part of all of our battery fans. Pepper here is an expert on making this machine give us that precise bend so everything fits perfectly. Pepper, what do we got here? Is this a handle?
No, it's a subframe for the V16.
This is a subframe for the V16?
Yeah.
Nice. You can see how smooth the corners are. This is where the operator really takes over and makes sure this machine is set correctly so it doesn't tear or stretch or warp any of these parts. Nice job, Pepper.
Thank you, sir.
Kenny here is one of our welders, does a great job, is putting handles together for the V18 battery fans. You want to show us how it's done?
Yeah, okay.
So these are the ends. You see how he's taking care to make sure this is all square and perfect? This is so you know you get a fan that will perform perfectly for you at every fire scene. These are some tubes that Pepper bent that we just saw. Laser cut spreader pieces. This is where the magic is. I can't do this, but Kenny sure can. Light it up for us. Here he's tacking all the pieces, and then he'll come back and do a finish weld. looks perfect. Now you're gonna finish it off?
Yeah, put a couple more on here just to try to hold it together better.
A few tacks to hold it?
We TIG weld it, it'll be really pretty.
So now you're gonna put a few more on and call it good?
Yeah.
Well, it looks great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we came over here to the robot. Clayton here is our expert on this complicated machine. Right now he's welding up stream shapers. So Clayton, tell us what you're doing here.
Oh, we just set the part in gear, tighten everything up, put it in the spaces.
Tighten it up.
Yep, then just press the button and it does its thing.
Light her up, fire in a hole.
There we go.
So we do our stream shapers out of metal, and that gives us a nice thin cross section which allows more airflow. Some of our competitors will have this molded in plastic, but to have enough strength in plastic, it's a lot thicker, and that blocks a lot more of your airflow. It gives more airflow so we can get the smoke out of the building quicker by using a metallized stream shaper frame. So once Clayton and his robot are done, this is what we end up with. You can see how uniform it is. This helps straighten the air and gives you more push into that structure to force the smoke out the other side. So this is not totally finished, but good part of the way. Great, thanks Clayton.
Yeah, thank you.
So here we are pre-paint. This is one of those handles that you saw Kenny just finish off. Goes along with one of the frames. We'll put it through these wash tanks to get the surface ready for the paint to adhere, and then we'll take it over here and we'll put some powder on it. So here we are at the powder facility. The nice thing about the powder process is it'll wrap around the backside of this tube, any of those parts, and get that full coverage so there's no metal that's exposed to the air. So Cheyenne here is taking these parts off now that they've been coated. Give him a little close-up of that finish so they can see how good that is. Nice and tough. You can't scratch that after powder coat. How long do you bake those for?
We're baking these for about 8 minutes. They're getting up to temperatures around 400 to 410 degrees, and then we're gradually letting them cool down by the fan.
So 8 minutes at 400 degrees, kind of like a chocolate chip cookie then, huh?
Absolutely. And then the trick is when it's coming out, it's still pretty malleable. It's when it starts to cool down that it protects and enamels and creates the protective layer.
So it's got to cool down then to be hardened up and ready to go.
Absolutely.
So here's where all the parts come together. Motor covers out of the foundry. Handles painted, ready to be assembled. So this is where the magic happens. These guys and gals put everything together. Take a shroud. Don here is putting some edge trim on it to make that a little bit better. Ben's getting some blades ready to go. Brian and Matt here are finishing these off. There's a lot of wiring that goes into a battery fan. A lot of things going on to make it work seamlessly for you on scene. These guys will put it together, double, triple, quadruple check it, and it'll be ready to be boxed up and sent to your fire station. So here we're finishing off the door bars. This is the piece you saw him painting in the other room. This allows you to, this forms up in a doorway. You can hang fans from it to get your ventilation point higher to suck the smoke out if you want to do that. They going together for you okay?
Oh yeah.
Well, good. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. So it looks like we had a pretty good day today. These are all fans that are going out to your fire department. This is the last thing they do here until you receive them at your station.